Hello everyone, welcome back again in our RoadToUK Academy's course applying for jobs in the NHS. Today's lesson is making an NHS jobs profile. It's a very crucial part of the whole process of getting a job or applying for the jobs. If you make a solid NHS jobs profile, that's basically the CV that the employer are looking at. So there is no particularly CV you have to do. You just have to make a solid profile. I mean, that is your CV, and you can use the profile to apply for different jobs using that CV or the profile as a skeleton. So obviously, you have to give quite a bit of time formulating your profile. Make sure that you answer every bit of questions which we'll go through. Let's just jump into it right away. So start with my profile. As you can see, I've already put some information in. I tried to maintain all the information that I put when I started applying for jobs. So let's start with the personal information tab. Here you can see all the information here are quite self-explanatory. Address line, you can put your own address. Even if it's outside UK, that's not a problem at all. So do you used to receive updates and everything? I think when you start doing this for the first time, this comes like this way. So obviously, are you United National? Obviously, the answer is no. And then you have to answer what happens. Like if you are still having a visitor visa, then you can choose here visitor. And if you don't have a visitor visa or your visa has been expired, then you can just write this here. No current visa or right to work in the UK will require sponsorship for tier 2 visa before applying for entry clearance. That just goes to the HR to look at that, oh, this person is applying from outside UK. Visa number, if you have a visitor visa, you can put your visa number, you can start and expiry date, and obviously visitor visa clearly says no work or request to public funds. And your NHS returning to practice, no, so save and continue. Let's move on to the next tab, which is the qualifications. Obviously, I was just completed my MBBS degree and completed my internship and applied for jobs. So if you have completed any postgraduate qualification, like even MRCP Part 1, you can just say it here as your educational professional qualification. Training courses attended. It doesn't really have to be all UK based. If you have done something outside UK, which you want to put in your CV that you've been trained with, maybe you have done some uh, uh, life life support courses, even that they are not approved by the Research UK, you can put it in your CV just to show your employers that you have done this, so that in the interview you can tell that I have done similar to Research UK, but obviously I'm looking forward to doing it once I get my foot into the NHS. So then comes the membership and professional bodies, which if you have the current UK professional registration, you can choose this option. If you don't have it but applied for, then you can choose this option. UK professional and license package required. Obviously, whichever job you'll be applying for, it will require it. And applied for, you can just choose this option if you have not received the registration yet. If you have, obviously, I have current UK registration for the post and your membership number, and the renewal date would be 1 year from the date you're giving, because every 1 year it will be there is an argument you can put 5 years actually get revalidated, but if you keep paying, you have to pay every year an annual retention fee. So technically the renewal is 1 year from now, so just choose that date. This membership number is only the information that they need, because you can search the medical register. It's public information, so if they have your number, they can see. I mean, refer the human resources, your employers, human resource officers. All right, let's move to the next session. It would be employment history. All right, here we go. Here is the place you have to sell yourself as much as you can. So as I only completed internship before applying for jobs, so I put that as my most recent employer. I was intern at Mymensingh Medical College and Hospital in Bangladesh. Job title was intern doctor and everything. So this is the place I would want to. You have so many words to spare, so use all of it. Like, what were your responsibilities? Write in detail what did you do, and what did you what things were your duties and responsibilities. Go into as much as detail possible, because see, I wrote all of this, still I have 304 words remaining. So yeah, go all board, like what did you do, um, uh, everything as much as you can include. Employment gaps, you can here say that I see my internship finished. Obviously, after my internship, I did my plabs and everything. So there was a gap between my employment. I just explained what I did here, that I've been preparing for plab exams and I appeared in that plabs too and everything. So this is, if you have any significant gaps between the employments, this is a very easy one, because I have just internship. The other people who have years and years of experience, and if they have a considerable amount of gap in between, you can make like points and paragraphs here, or just, even though it's not many words, you just can say that the gaps in my employment was due to this and this. So this is the place. Your brief description should not be brief, because they have given you the spaces to write as much as you can. All right, let's move on to the next section. Referees. So for NHS jobs, you have to have 3 referees, even though it's just asking for 1 here. But when you actually go to apply for the job, they will ask for 3 referees. Uh, it depends on the HR of the trust you'll be applying for, but most of the cases, the referees will be checked after you get the job. So uh, talk to the referees who will be willing to fill a form for you. Most of the cases, most NHS trusts use a track jobs, which is an online referral system. They get an email, a link, and through that link they have to fill a form. That's your reference. So nobody has to sign or in any document or anything of that sort. Uh, so I would suggest putting your reference to your consultants. Sometimes I have put one referee as a senior registrar as a referee as well. So I think consultant or senior registrar who has seen you work, and they will have to put dates from which date to which date they have observed you, and obviously your performance and all the other things. So try to gather 3 referees. You have to have 3 referees. So what are the types of referees? You can see, yeah, types of reference. So it could be current employer, previous employers, higher education, personal character. So it doesn't necessarily you'll have to have 4 these types. It can be just current employer or previous true employers, or current employer or school, college, or if you're not employed, then previous employer. I think the most recent has to be the most recent times has to be covered. Like say if you had a job 1 year ago, they would want to have the reference from that job. That's a rule of thumb, I guess. Yeah. Supporting information, a lot of IMGs struggle to write information here, and it's understandable, because maybe on most of the cases you don't have those things as documentation. But this practical experience, I'll start from the top. List of practical experience that is relevant to your post. Applied for up to a maximum of 8. This should refer to the verifiable logbook or portfolio evidence, which will need to present at the all appointed hearings. Even if they say this, I was never asked to show this in any of my interview, even though I had my logbook with me. So as you said, relevant to the post. So this should change depending on which job you're applying for. So the practical experience that you need for your surgical job shouldn't be the same as you need for some are similar, but most of them can be different. Like mark those which you are actually good at, even though you don't have the portfolio evidence or the logbook. If you're good at IV cannulation, say that. Like put some I would say, even if you guesstimate, I wouldn't see why that would be a problem. But if you have an evidence, that's definitely will be better. So as you said, I this was mainly for my medicine job, so I put out all my practical experience related to medicine. And as you said, please briefly describe the extent uh, of what I have done. I have said that I would say I'm fairly proficient in the above mentioned procedures and interventions, and always open to learn more. I like to think I have good communication skills. What other skills you want to highlight and everything? See, sell yourself. That's the only thing in this entire jobs profile. Then in the context of reflecting your own skills, if there are many areas which might seek further development and support, what I said here is that I want to understand audits and research by further attending journal clubs and reading my some courses, research methodologies. So this is the one I used, that I didn't have enough opportunity to audit or research during my internship, so I want to improve that skill. Teaching, yes, it can be informal teaching. I during my internship, I used to teach the junior, so the medical students that comes into the ward for their clinical rotations. I used to teach them. I mentioned this here. Obviously, I don't have any particular qualification in teaching. Management of change, no. No research, no publication, no presentation, no prize. See, my application is like this. Application was like this. Still got job offers. So management and leadership experience. Here you can shine. Like, see, I have one word remaining. Pick an incident, uh, highlight an experience which you can get the whole structure from one of our posts, creating the perfect CV, where we talked about the I think STAR is the structure: situation, task, action, and response. And by that way, you can describe one scene, what happened, also team working, do the same, find a situation where you prove yourself to be a good team worker. And supporting information, this bit of information you can get from the job description or the person specification of the job specifically. What do they want? We will touch into that when we go into the lesson, what to look for in the job advert. There we will talk about what actually information you can collect from them and put it in your supporting information. Yeah, this is a quite big thing, and you have to put a lot of time writing down all the management and team working and all the other things. Monitoring information, all the other mundane tick boxes, obviously a date of birth, your mail, and all the other things, Equality Act, safeguarding. You just have to say fit to practice, and no criminal recordings and everything. Then there we go. You save. See, if you have all the tick marks green, that means you have saved all of them. So there you go. That's how you can make your NHS jobs profile. There may be some jobs who will ask for more information than this profile. You'll just have to understand what they're asking for and answer that way. But this is the skeleton of most of the application. There might be another question: upload your CV. So it's better to take information from here, make it a PDF file of your CV as well, following our creating a perfect CV, and upload that CV when they want it as a PDF format. And also there's some questions related to the trust, like some trust want you to go to their website, look up stuff, and come back and answer it here. So you just have to do that sometimes as well. So making this kind of profile gives you the opportunity to do it one time, and later on when you have to apply for all the jobs, you just don't have to reinvent the wheel again and again. That's it for making an NHS job profile. Let's move on to our next lesson.